Rumor has it that you bought land without conducting search. They said in your own case, the documentation is even looking somehow. The name of the seller is not tallying with the name on the document they gave to you. But they told you, I go live for you, and you went ahead. Nice one. In your own case, you even did deed of assignment, only that you didn't go ahead to perfect your title, and you thought you already bought land. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. Only that, in this case, you have done giveaway. So, I hope you get it. I hope you get your blessing back in another way. But as far as that land is concerned, support law.
You must be joking.
They said the document they gave to you was even prepared by one agent, not even a lawyer.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, nice one. And they told you not to involve a lawyer because lawyer's fee will be, lawyer's fee will be so high, and you shouldn't bother yourself. And you went ahead.
This is preposterous.
Welcome to L'Education, the podcast that helps you to understand legal terms, helps you to understand legal principle, helps you to understand legal concepts, breaks it down to you, and help you to be able to relate with them. You are welcome again to this, our episode. This is the second episode of land ownership in Nigeria. And for those who have not watched our first episode, pause this one now, go back and watch our first episode so that you can now flow with this, our second episode. Today, we are discussing about certain pitfalls you should avoid when doing or when entering into land transactions. Number one, take it as a rule. Number one, never buy or enter into a land transaction without conducting search. Never enter into a land transaction without conducting your search. This is what I mean. Search. If a land is covered by a CFO, you have all the details and all the details at the lands bureau. And the first place is to go to the lands bureau to check whether there has been any form of encumbrance on the land. Now, I mentioned to us last week the word encumbrance. What it means is, it is possible that that land has been used as a collateral for a loan. It is possible that they have even sold the land to somebody else. It is possible that it has been leased or somebody already has an interest in the land. But all that will be shown to you if you go to lands, if you go to the Bureau of Lands to go and do your due diligence. All of that will be revealed to you. Another kind of search you should do is to actually go to the land itself. I know you saw it in an advert, and the person who advertised it to you is somebody you know very well. Have you heard about a guy who sold a whole airport to somebody? I hope you are not buying such a thing. Go to the land and see for yourself. There are things. Let me paint a scenario. You go to the land they said they want to sell, and on getting there, you saw that the land has just been cleared. In fact, you met some people there working, digging foundation, or maybe a foundation has just been recently dug there. That is a notice to you that there is something fishy about this land. Maybe they have even put certain signages there to say that this land is not for sale, beware, and all of that. Those are things that should put you, those are red flags you should avoid. I am not saying that once you see that notice or signage on the land and all of that, it's totally a bad land. No, I'm just saying that should put you on notice that you need to do extra work, extra due diligence to be able to ascertain that you are buying a genuine land. Another kind of search you should also do is that there may be a court case on that land. There may be litigation going on that land. Now, your visitation to the land may not even reveal that. Although sometimes people around can sometimes tip you to let you know that there may be a problem on the land, but not in all cases. So another place you want to also check is at the court registry to be sure that there is no pending suit, there is no pending lawsuit on that land. Now, in all, conduct due diligence before you throw your money to charity. If you are looking for where to donate to, there are orphanages, there are churches, there are a lot of NGOs which you can donate to. That would be more profitable than throwing your money away to one agent or to one fraudster.
Say thank you.
Another very, very important pitfall you should avoid is buying a land without proper documentation. Now, there are situations where people buy land and the documents they give to them, you cannot trace the history or you cannot trace the root of ownership. And what I mean is this: the land was originally bought from a family and then transferred to somebody, and then let's call that person Mr. Jide, and then Mr. Jide transfers the land to Mrs. Kemi, and Mrs. Kemi on her own now transfers the land to one Sulaiman, and Sulaiman is now transferring the land to you. But in this case, you only saw the documents transferring the land from Sulaiman to you. But every other document that talks about the history of the ownership, they said they cannot find it. Madam, sir, run. Do what? Run. One major thing you should always look out for when you are doing land transaction is to trace the history of ownership to the roots of it. If it is a land that is covered by CFO, you want to also trace all the transactions that has taken place on that land. You want to see the documentation. Without that, please, no matter how enticing their words are, don't enter into that transaction. This another major pitfall you should not even fall into is entry into a land transaction based on oral agreement. I go get no be property. In fact, under the law, any transaction to be done on land, any transaction that has to be on land has to be documented. In fact, the document has to be prepared by a licensed legal practitioner. So it is not even it is not negotiable for you to now enter oral agreement, and you have paid in millions or whatever, and then the only evidence you have is that we had an agreement, and that agreement is word of mouth. Excuse me, I don't think in 2025, I don't think you should be falling into that kind of pitfall. I remember sometime last year, 2024, a client approached me who had paid for a land and all and just wanted me to do documentation for her and all. And then I asked for the title document. Guess what? She brought a title document that was prepared by one agent. And that was what they gave to her. And immediately I alerted her and said, you have just thrown your money into the gutters. Don't fall into that kind of pit. Document has to be prepared by a legal practitioner. There is no other person who is entitled, who has the right to prepare a land document in Nigeria. Now, in transactions where the owner of the land is actually dead, and now the children want to sell, or the children are claiming that, or people who stand up claiming to be the children of the deceased or the original owner are the ones that wants to sell to you. The kind of documentation you should ask for, number one, is whether the man left a will, and whether the will has been properly entered in probate. Number two, if the man or woman did not leave a will, they need to go and apply. They need to apply and obtain a letter of administration. And it is only somebody whose name is on that letter of administration who can actually legally transfer that land to you on behalf of the estate. Please, don't make the mistake. Oh, we know the family. Oh, we have known them for a long time and all of that. Don't fall into that problem. We have seen situations where a child will rise up in the future and say that he was never part of that transaction. In fact, the person who sold the land did not have the right to sell the land at all. And when you get to court, you want to prove your case. The question is, the man who owns the property, was he the one who sold the land to you? No, it was his children. Do the children have the right under the law to transfer that land to you? The simple answer is no, except they have obtained a letter of administration or by a will, that land has been devolved to them. Another pitfall you must by all means avoid is entering into a land transaction, negotiating and paying and concluding about land transaction without involving your lawyer. You are not being smart. You are just cheating yourself. You are only cheating yourself. There are certain things that you will not see. A legal practitioner will see it. You are trained to be able to detect red flags on land transactions and all. So leverage on that expertise. Don't be wise in your own heart. Generally, what are the things or what are the steps you should take before you enter into that transaction? Number one is to consult professionals to guide you. And the professionals that you need in land transaction is a lawyer to help you vet all the all the title document and help you prepare document in case you go ahead with that transaction. You need the help of a surveyor to also be able to chart and see that you are actually paying for the land you intended. There have been situations where the document they give to you is different from or the land content on the document they give to you is different from the land you intend to buy. So a land surveyor is going to help you chart and see that the land you intend to buy correlates with the land that is on the title document. So having done all of that, you need to, through the help of your legal practitioner, you need to also conduct search in all the necessary places. I have mentioned all of that earlier. After conducting search and your lawyer has given you opinion that is the land you need to go ahead to do, please, when you are making payments and all of that, ensure you have your receipt and ensure that the receiver, ensure that the seller or the account you are paying into is the account of the seller. Don't pay into your account of one agent and you think that you have bought land. Pay direct. Insist that you want the account of the seller, account that contains the name of the seller, except the seller has given his legal practitioner. Please note the word. He has given his legal practitioner a letter of authority or a power of attorney to enter into that transaction on his behalf. And by that, I do not mean that the lawyer is selling or will be the one selling the land to you. I'm saying that the lawyer can receive the payment on behalf of the seller. But ensure you see all of those documents. By the time you are making payment, ensure that your documents, the deed of assignment, is also ready for them to execute. I go buy, I go get, no be property. No matter the amount of money you pay, if a deed of assignment is not executed on that land, you have not obtained any form of title on that land. If the land is covered by a CFO, one thing you want to insist on is to get a governor's consent. The holder of the CFO must ensure that the governor's consent is obtained for that transaction that you're about to enter into. Like I mentioned to us last week, any transaction done on a land that is covered by CFO without the governor's consent is invalid. In fact, it is illegal. So insist that they obtain, or the seller obtains, the governor's consent for this your transaction. Well, these are the few things I want to discuss with us this week. There has been a lot of questions have been raised from our last episode. We are going to be answering that maybe from next week. And if you have questions, you have issues, maybe from the ones we did last week or this one, please drop them in the comment section. We will be glad to give answers to all of those questions that you have. For those who are asking about Rachel and Dami, well, they are fine, very, very fine. They are preparing for their exams, and so give them some time off to be able to properly prepare for their exams. Thank you for all your concerns. Thank you for staying with us on Education. Until next week, when we come your way again, the same time, every Friday by 7 p.m. See you, and God bless you.